Jim's family and my party have been overwhelmed by the kindness shown to us in these difficult days. We are heart-sore at his loss, but the outpouring of love and respect that has come forth from all sides of this chamber has been such a balm at this difficult time. And what does the Lord require of you but to act justly and to love mercy and to walk humbly with your God? Presiding officer, this verse from the book of Micah was read to Church of Scotland congregations the country over this Sunday. It's just a part of the normal rhythms of the Kirk at this time of year. And yet, those words speak to the qualities and life choices of Jim Wallace, perhaps more than any other passage in Scripture. Jim was a man of profound Christian faith. The values in those words speak to so much about his politics and his dedication to public service. It was in Elphinstone Hall, in the University of Aberdeen, during the referendum campaign of 1997 to establish this Parliament, that I first heard Jim Wallace speak. I was just a student at the time, but that night he inspired me to recognise that I was a Liberal, that I absolutely agreed that there should be a Scottish Parliament, and that I wanted, one day, to have the opportunity to serve in it. Presiding officer, the torrent of praise that has rightly been offered about Jim this weekend focused on the many achievements he made in the high offices that he held. But it is often forgotten just how much about this place we owe to Jim. He was central to the Constitutional Convention that made the case for devolution, and with the referendum won, became an architect of our reconvened Parliament and of modern Scotland. He was a details man. He took great pride in, for want of a better word, the geekery of its formation, in helping to draft the conventions and the standing orders that we still observe today. He loved this chamber. He was so proud of his involvement in its establishment and what it would go on to achieve. And, presiding officer, so much of that was made possible by his ability to work across party lines, and in particular, his friendship with the late Donald Dewar. Jim is celebrated for his ability to lay aside political tribalism and to reach for the better nature of his adversaries. There is such rancour in our politics today. We could all learn something about his approach and lean into his legacy of doing politics through grace and reconciliation. While he was a man of towering intellect, he was largely bereft of technical know-how or any sort of coordination. Indeed, Rosie, his wife, describes him as being completely hornless, discovering him one afternoon astride the ride-on lawnmower, having gone up and down their garden for hours, not realising that the filter was blocked and he hadn't clipped a single blade of grass. Or the first day of our election campaign in 2003, which we kicked off with a balloon launch. But at the moment of their release, the cameras of the nation's media were not trained on the cascade of golden balloons ascending into the stratosphere, but rather they were focused on the Deputy First Minister of Scotland, who had become hopelessly entangled in the fishing net we'd used to collect them. Indeed, our press officer, Neil McKinnon, literally had to rip a button from his suit jacket to set him free. But we didn't need Jim for his coordination or for his technical know-how. We needed him for his grasp of political strategy, for his stoicism, for his ability to discern the true north of our liberal values. Nicoll, Tavish, Willie and I, as his successors in leadership, have all turned to Jim for counsel and support. It is why I had no hesitation in appointing him as chair of our Scottish general election campaign in 2024. I am heartily glad that he lived to see the revival of our party and played such a role in it, and the best election result for Liberals in his lifetime. But while Jim was a mainstay of support to us, he could not have achieved anything without the bedrock of support that he received from his family, and in particular, his wife, Rosie. I love this story of how they met. It was the summer of 1979, and Jim had almost forgotten about the Shakespeare-themed fancy dress party he'd been invited to in the neighbouring flat. It was after midnight when he finally remembered, so he shoved a couple of lilac bush branches down the back of his jumper and he knocked the door. Rosie, in full costume, this is the first time they met, answered the door exclaiming, "I'm Titania, Queen of the Fairies. Who on earth are you?" To which he replies, "I'm Burnham Wood come to Dunsinane." Rosie, Helen, Claire and Neil, thank you for helping him to become the giant that he was and for sharing him with us. We have so much love for you and we will continue to hold you in the light that shines. Presiding Officer Jim Wallace acted justly. He loved mercy and he walked humbly with God. We are all the poorer now he is gone, but this Parliament and this country are immeasurably richer because he lived.